A $4 powder sitting ignored in your grocery store can slash blood sugar spikes by a staggering 41%. But swallowing it in a capsule transforms this biological miracle into a severe physical hazard. Watch until the end to uncover the precise, life-saving protocol they never told you about. A staggering 41%. That is the scientifically documented, peer-reviewed reduction in post-meal blood sugar spikes you can achieve without swallowing a single milligram of pharmaceutical intervention. I want you to let that number truly sink into your mind. 41%. If a massive pharmaceutical corporation patented a synthetic chemical tomorrow that safely blunted glucose absorption by nearly half, it would be heralded as the absolute medical breakthrough of the century. The stock market would go absolutely haywire, and medical journals would dedicate entire special editions to its glory. Yet, when you walked into your endocrinologist's office for that strictly timed, painfully rushed 15-minute consultation this morning, the doctor did not breathe a single word of this to you. Instead, you received a sympathetic nod, a tired lecture about watching your carbs, and the agonizingly familiar sound of a prescription pad being hurriedly torn. At Healthy Aging US warmly welcomes you to a space where we refuse to accept that silent surrender. Before we dive into the depths of this biological mystery, if you believe in uncovering the profound truths that the medical industrial complex has left behind, please hit that subscribe button to support our channel and give us the fuel to keep bringing you these hidden realities. I have watched this tragedy play out in my own life. I have sat in those sterile, fluorescent-lit clinic rooms alongside family members, watching people I love morph into weary, exhausted guinea pigs for an industry that thrives on management rather than true healing. I know the relentless fatigue, the gastrointestinal nightmares from endless medications, the creeping, terrifying neuropathy, and the quiet despair of feeling your own biological system slowly breaking down. It is a profound, soul-crushing tragedy to sit there, clutching a pharmacy receipt that stretches into the thousands of dollars, believing you have exhausted every scientific option available to save your own life. But I am here to tell you, from the bottom of my heart, that you have not. The most potent weapon against type 2 diabetes is not locked away behind a pharmacist's counter or shielded by a multi-billion-dollar patent. It is sitting completely ignored on the bottom shelf of your local grocery store, sandwiched somewhere in the dark between antacids and adult diapers. It costs about $4 a jar. We are talking about Psyllium Husk. Now, before you roll your eyes, click away, and dismiss this as just another holistic, pseudoscientific grandmother's remedy, I need you to stop and listen to me. We are not talking about simple roughage. We are talking about a profoundly powerful biological agent, a highly structured, scientifically validated molecular intervention that fundamentally alters the biochemistry of your digestive tract. This is molecular warfare against insulin resistance. But I must issue a critical, non-negotiable warning right now, an absolute matter of your biological safety. If you are tempted to pause this video, run to the store and buy a bottle of those convenient little Psyllium Husk capsules to swallow with your morning coffee, do not do it. You will be throwing your hard-earned money directly out the window. And far worse, you could be putting yourself in severe physical danger. The capsule form completely destroys the biomechanics of how this remarkable substance works, and I will reveal exactly why that is and the precise, safe protocol you must use at the very end of this presentation. You cannot afford to miss that. To understand why a $4 powder has been universally ignored, you must first understand the darkness of the 15-minute clinic. Your doctor is not your enemy, but rather a highly trained professional trapped inside an archaic, broken system of physiological triage. When you walk in with a terrifyingly high A1C, the system's only protocol is to force that number down chemically. Think of your body like a deeply polluted, dirty fish tank where your cells are the suffocating fish. The modern medical approach attempts to drug the fish so it can survive just a little longer in the toxic water, prescribing chemicals to whip your pancreas or force your kidneys to urinate out the danger. What they absolutely fail to do is clean the water itself. Yet, the exact blueprint to purify that water has existed in the darkest archives of medical literature for over 3 decades, buried because there is simply no incentive to educate you on a $4 miracle when a weekly injection costs $1,000 a month. It is time to erase the word fiber from your vocabulary and discover the active metabolic sponge that is about to change everything you thought you knew about your body. To truly understand how we begin to purify that polluted cellular water, we have to look exactly at what happens the moment this humble powder enters your internal ecosystem. When most people hear the word fiber, they picture cardboard-tasting bran flakes scraping through their intestines like a stiff broom. I need you to entirely banish that image from your mind. Psyllium husk is not a broom. It is a highly sophisticated, hyper-absorbent metabolic sponge. It consists of a very specific type of soluble fiber that possesses an almost magical affinity for water. When you consume this substance correctly, it does not just passively sit in your stomach. It actively transforms, expanding and hydrating to form a thick, viscous, mucilaginous gel. This gel becomes a biological shield, a physical barrier coating the walls of your upper digestive tract. Imagine you are eating a standard American meal, perhaps a plate of pasta or a sandwich. Normally, the moment those refined carbohydrates hit your small intestine, digestive enzymes ruthlessly tear them apart, converting them into pure glucose. That glucose then floods into your bloodstream like a violent tsunami, forcing your already exhausted pancreas to frantically pump out massive quantities of insulin to deal with the crisis. This is the daily trauma your body endures. But when that meal is preceded by our metabolic sponge, the rules of human digestion are temporarily rewritten. The carbohydrates become trapped within this thick, protective gel matrix. Your digestive enzymes are forced to work exponentially slower, struggling to penetrate the viscous barrier. Instead of a devastating tsunami of sugar flooding your blood, you get a slow, steady, manageable trickle. Your pancreas is finally allowed to rest. The 41% reduction in glucose spikes is not a trick of the light. It is the physical result of this gel intercepting the sugar before it can ever reach your bloodstream. I have seen the profound relief in the eyes of diabetics who, after years of watching their post-meal glucose monitors flash terrifying red numbers, finally see the steady, peaceful green line of a blunted spike. It is the feeling of finally taking the wheel of a car that has been careening out of control. But blunting that initial tsunami of sugar is only the opening battle in this molecular warfare. The true miracle happens further down in the dark, forgotten corridors of your gut. We so often treat our bodies as if we are solitary organisms, forgetting that we are actually walking ecosystems. Deep within your colon lives a massive microbiome, a trillions-strong army of bacteria that fundamentally dictates your immune response, your mood, and crucially, your metabolic health. For decades, the modern, highly processed Western diet has been systematically starving this invisible army. When your good bacteria are starved, they die off, allowing pathogenic, inflammatory bacteria to take over, which sends silent alarms of chronic inflammation throughout your entire body. This systemic inflammation is the very bedrock of insulin resistance. It is the reason your cells refuse to open their doors to insulin in the first place. When you introduce psyllium husk into this devastated environment, you are essentially dropping emergency rations to a dying battalion. While the gel matrix moves slowly through your system, it begins to ferment in the colon. Your good bacteria absolutely feast on this specific prebiotic structure. As they digest the psyllium, they excrete microscopic metabolic byproducts called short-chain fatty acids, specifically one known as butyrate. Butyrate is nothing short of liquid gold for a diabetic body. These short-chain fatty acids are absorbed directly into your bloodstream and travel straight to your liver and your muscle tissue. Once there, they act as cellular messengers, effectively knocking on the doors of your cells and commanding them to become more sensitive to insulin. This is not just a band-aid covering up a symptom. This is profound, root-cause cellular healing. By feeding your microbiome, you are essentially repairing the broken lock on your cells so that your body's natural insulin can finally turn the key again. It is a deeply humbling realization to understand that the cure for our modern metabolic suffering relies so heavily on nurturing the microscopic life forms we have so recklessly ignored. As your cells finally begin to regain their sensitivity to insulin and your microbiome heals, this remarkable substance simultaneously wages war against the silent killer that walks hand in hand with diabetes. Anyone who has lived with blood sugar issues knows the underlying, suffocating anxiety of the secondary diagnosis. You go in for your A1C, and the doctor immediately pivots to your lipid panel, frowning at your skyrocketing LDL cholesterol. Diabetes and heart disease are deeply sinister twins, and the medical-industrial complex is more than happy to treat them as two separate, highly profitable revenue streams, prescribing one pill for your blood sugar and another for your cholesterol.
The statin drugs are handed out like candy, bringing with them a host of debilitating side effects, muscle pain, brain fog, and chronic fatigue that leaves you feeling older than your years. Psyllium husk does not view these issues as separate. The same viscous gel that traps rogue carbohydrates performs a secondary, equally miraculous function. It acts as a molecular magnet for bile acids. Your liver naturally produces bile to help digest fats, and this bile is heavily constructed from cholesterol. Normally, your body aggressively recycles this bile, absorbing it back into the bloodstream to be used again. But the psyllium gel physically binds to these bile acids in the intestine, trapping them securely and sweeping them right out of your body through your waste. Faced with a sudden shortage of bile, your liver panics in the best possible way. To manufacture more, it has no choice but to pull floating LDL cholesterol directly out of your bloodstream. It is a beautiful, elegant biological feedback loop. By simply forcing your body to create new bile, you are naturally and safely lowering your circulating cholesterol without swallowing a single synthetic statin. It is a dual shield, protecting your heart and your pancreas simultaneously, offering a profound sense of safety to those who have lived in constant fear of their own cardiovascular system. Yet, all of this profound biological healing can be instantly reversed and even turned into a severe physical hazard if you do not know exactly how to deploy this weapon. I return to the desperate warning I issued at the beginning of our journey. Human nature gravitates toward convenience. The supplement industry knows this, which is why they have pulverized this magnificent husk, crammed it into tiny gelatin capsules, and sold it at a massive markup. You might think popping 5 of these pills with a sip of morning coffee is doing your body a favor. It is not. In fact, it is a recipe for disaster. When you swallow dry psyllium capsules,
They travel down your esophagus and hit the acidic environment of your stomach entirely unhydrated. As the gelatin capsule dissolves, the highly compressed powder suddenly explodes outward, desperately searching for moisture. It will aggressively pull water from your surrounding tissues, creating a dense, concrete-like lump rather than a smooth, flowing gel. In severe cases, this can lead to esophageal choking, severe intestinal blockages, and agonizing abdominal pain that lands people in the emergency room.
You are effectively dropping unactivated cement into your delicate plumbing. This is why the protocol for deploying this metabolic sponge is non-negotiable. You must bypass the convenient pills entirely and purchase pure, unflavored, unsweetened whole psyllium husk powder. It comes in a bag or a jar, and it looks like fine sawdust. You need 1 heaping teaspoon. The timing is absolutely critical to blunting the glucose spike. You must execute this protocol exactly 15 to 20 minutes before your largest meals of the day. Take a tall glass, at least 12 to 16 ounces of room temperature water. Do not use ice water as it prevents the powder from mixing properly. Drop the teaspoon of powder into the water and immediately begin stirring vigorously. You have a window of about 10 seconds before the gel matrix begins to activate and thicken. You must drink the entire glass rapidly before it turns into sludge in the glass. The moment you finish it, pour yourself another 8 ounces of plain water and drink that as a chaser. This ensures the husk is completely hydrated and moves smoothly down into your stomach, where it will finish expanding safely, creating the perfect biological shield just in time for the food that is about to follow. It takes discipline. It takes stepping away from the alluring promise of a magic pharmaceutical bullet and taking physical responsibility for your own digestive chemistry. But when you look at that jar of powder, I do not want you to see mere fiber. I want you to see 41%. I want you to see the regeneration of your cellular health, the protection of your heart, and the end of the helpless 15-minute clinic visits. The power to heal has always been in your hands. It just needed to be brought out of the shadows. Psyllium husk is far more than a simple dietary fiber. It is a remarkably sophisticated metabolic tool that has the power to fundamentally rewrite your digestive biology. When consumed correctly, this natural substance transforms into a protective gel matrix that blankets your upper digestive tract, trapping carbohydrates to slow their absorption. This effectively blunts debilitating glucose spikes and provides your overworked pancreas with a much-needed rest. Beyond blood sugar control, this biological shield travels to your colon to feed a starving microbiome. By nourishing these vital bacteria, your body produces butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that repairs cellular insulin sensitivity at its very root. Furthermore, this same gel acts as a molecular magnet, binding to bile acids and safely sweeping them from your system. This forces your liver to pull circulating LDL cholesterol from your bloodstream to create new bile, simultaneously protecting your cardiovascular health without the absolute reliance on synthetic medications. However, these profound benefits are entirely dependent on strict adherence to the molecular protocol. Relying on convenient, hazardous capsules can lead to severe gastrointestinal blockages. True healing requires taking pure, whole psyllium husk powder mixed rapidly in an ample amount of room temperature water, exactly 15 to 20 minutes before your largest meals. Taking physical responsibility for your digestive chemistry empowers you to step away from endless pharmaceutical cycles and reclaim control over your metabolic health, heart, and longevity. The most profound biological healing does not come from isolating symptoms or relying on convenient pharmaceutical quick fixes,
but from respecting and nurturing the body as a deeply interconnected ecosystem. By shifting our focus from passive consumption to disciplined, active participation in our own biology, we unlock the body's innate, miraculous ability to repair itself from the cellular level up. Ditch the capsules. Avoid dangerous, dehydrating psyllium pills. Instead, purchase pure, unflavored, unsweetened whole psyllium husk powder. Master the timing. Identify your largest, most carbohydrate-heavy meals of the day. Set a timer to execute the protocol exactly 15 to 20 minutes before you take your first bite. Execute the protocol safely. Vigorously mix 1 heaping teaspoon of the powder into 12 to 16 ounces of room temperature water. Drink it rapidly within 10 seconds before it thickens, and immediately follow it with an 8-ounce water chaser. Embrace the discipline. Treat this simple daily routine not as an inconvenience, but as a non-negotiable biological shield for your heart, pancreas, and microbiome. Before learning about this protocol, were you relying on convenient supplement capsules for your health? Or do you already prefer using raw, natural powders in your daily routine? Please share your thoughts and current habits in the comments section below, so our community can learn from each other's perspectives. If you found this information valuable and want to see more, please subscribe to the channel to support our work and give us the motivation to keep bringing you life-changing health content.